بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم رب اشرح لي صدري ويسر لي أمري واحلل عقدة من لساني يفقه قولي. This is Tayyaba Sabir. Today I'll be continuing the topic Jahez Eklanete. Um, in this third part I'll be talking about how siblings are affected, both the siblings of the girl as well as the siblings of the boy, the man to be married. Um, the siblings are affected in a way that they see whatever this their sister is taking along, and some immature ones, they start making the list, and they actually in our culture, Jahez is considered, oh, it's a gift from the family. But I would disagree respectfully, because I mean, all the life, the 22, 23, or 28, or whatever age that this girl gets married at, before that, no such gifts are given. In fact, even if she wanted to use one of the bed sheets or something for her household or her room, or she wouldn't be allowed to use them. If it was her gift, she should have, if it was for her, it shouldn't been, she should have been allowed in the first place. And she feels this kind of treatment makes her feel like she will only be worth using those things when she gets married, when she has a name, as we do in our culture, attached to her. So so this kind of has a negative effect on her self-esteem. um, it has a yearning, an unnecessary yearning for things which are lying in the home. She knows they're there, and she's not able to use them. It kind of associates a lot of happiness and fascination and with the time when she will be able to use it, and that'll be a great time. And I mean, with all the media and the fairy tales, we already have a lot of uh, fantasy attached to this really hard work requiring relationship. So when we have these things sitting there, and she knows they're sitting there, and she'll be allowed to finally use them, and when she'll be allowed, it would be such a fine time. But it's not, because there's a lot of hard work attached to it. You have to learn, she has to learn to settle into a new place, into a new family with new different temperament holding family members, and especially her husband and her parents-in-law. So it it just adds to the disappointment that happens when that bubble bursts. That, okay, marriage was supposed to be this fine time when life is just going to be a bed of roses, and I was going to use all these new things. Secondly, when it comes to gifts, if we say it's gift, then the Prophet ﷺ, from Sunnah, it's recommended that you can only give a gift. Not recommended, actually, he actually forbade a man who wanted to gift a camel to one of his sons, and he had many sons, many children, not just sons. So the Prophet Muhammad ﷺ asked him if he could gift the same camel to everyone else. He said, I wouldn't be able to. So Prophet ﷺ forbade him from giving it to that favorite son of his. Therefore, we are required, if even in case of gifts, we are required to have equality between our children, and that keeps them from having a rivalry, from that keeps the peace in the family. And if we ignore such things, and these things do get ignored in terms of dowry, when dowry happens and the first one takes a lot of it, or or things get better when it's time for the last one to get married, and she takes a lot of it. Um, so there's a jealousy placed in human nature, and towards that one, the one who got more, and it just goes on for, it just stays there for life, because we don't really treat it, we don't address it in a positive way. We just sulk and then react, and the other person doesn't even know what the issue is. So this is how this is one of the ways that it affects the siblings, especially the girls. On when it comes to the brothers, they feel like, okay, I mean, when are we going to get something? And the girls are just gonna take everything, and maybe they're not grown up enough to understand that that property is left for them. And first and foremost, when we don't, um, sadly and unfortunately, in most cases, dowry is given with the intention, which is not spoken with the mouth, but the intention of the heart is what's important. The intention that, okay, this is her dowry, now she gets nothing from inheritance. Because you see, that's the Hindu, authentic Hindu culture. You give charity to the girl because she's not entitled to any kind of inheritance from any side of the family, and that's it. That's all what she's gonna live on. So in many cases, the meher is just for namesake, and the dowry is the main thing. So parents try to give a lot of things, just so in the end it's expected of the girls not to ask for their inheritance. And if they do, they're looked down upon, they're cut off by their brothers as well, and nobody speaks a word, not even the sister-in-laws. Here I'd like to point bring to notice that it's our duty. We need to have trust and faith in Allah when we say Hasbi Allah. If our child falls off and we say Allah is enough, Allah is really enough. If we are the wives of those brothers who've cut off their sisters, their real sisters, just because they have asked for their inheritance, then we have a right to guide our husbands in the correct direction, to help them have faith and trust in Allah, and to help them not feed haram to your own child by taking away from what is of that sister's. So the dowry bit just taught a very bad, everlasting effect for the family, for the siblings. On the other side, on the boys' side, when the sister-in-law sees what this other sister-in-law brought, she makes a note, as I've mentioned before. Plus, what happens in case of the brother-in-laws? The brother-in-law sees that, okay, this brother of mine got this much, so I'll make sure that my wife brings more. And then there's another kind of rivalry between the sisters-in-law to be. So it just doesn't, it just brings in, I mean, it just rips us of khair. It just rips us of blessings. It just starts our relationships with very negative feelings, with competition, with comparison, with jealousy, and there's nothing positive in all of these things. And please, and if you're honest, we cannot deny that these things are there. These things are the core, at the core of the way the relations get started with the in-laws. They are at the core of it all. So these are the points that I think that that happened, things that happened because of dowry in case of siblings. There's an apathy created towards the parents within their own child because of that lack of justice and equality among the siblings. And there's this competition started between the brothers. Um, it's it's just a very wrong way of starting these crucial phases of life where new generation is to be taken care of these parents, um, and their lives are affected in so many ways, on so many levels, by this one thing, and the effects are long lasting, and they just don't go because we fail to adhere to Allah's ways, to Allah's commandments, to the ways of Sunnah, to how Hazrat has told us to make our lives easy, and we have oppressed someone. We've oppressed the parents. We have oppressed the girl. There are girls who are really compassionate. There are definitely girls who are compassionate because girls are a rahmah and they are compassionate and they don't want to take so much from their parents, but they have to because their parents force it on them, thinking it's going to make their life easy. And they lose respect for their in-laws because of them taking it or maybe demanding it. Or, God forbid, in many cases they do that. They pinpoint and they scorn and they um, give sarcastic remarks about what's not given and what's missing or what didn't work as well. So there's an entitlement attached to dowry, which is very shameful. It's just, may Allah help us, and may Allah let there be more peace and love between the families and family members, so we have fertile, uh, nourishing, nurturing soil, footing for the new generation to breathe in and uh, be sustained by. Ameen. Assalamu alaikum.